November Rain is a song about not wanting to be in a state of having to deal with unrequited love. Estranged is acknowledging it and being there and having to figure out what the fuck to do. It's like being catapulted out into the universe and having no choice about it and having to figure out what the fuck are you gonna do, because the things you wanted and worked for just cannot happen, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. I wrote the song basically about who I am and how I feel, and the breakup of my marriage with Aaron, and how I didn't want it to die. Also apply it to a lot of other situations or friendships or family things where you knew it had to end. I actually had a dream of the piano in this song, and there's another person that I know that plays piano, and they're really good, and they make jokes out of it, and they sit there and crack jokes and play all over the piano like a double speed, and make jokes. And I was wondering why they never took that seriously, and somehow I started having a dream about this song I could write for this person to play, and I woke up and I went, well, I'm gonna go try and start playing that. And I went in and started playing it and realized I was onto something, and I felt the emotions it was bringing out of me, and started actually writing the words to it as I started the playing of it. But when we started to record the song, I brought it in to the band, and no one really quite had a concept of what it was we were going to do with this thing. And it was a very long piece with a lot of changes. So it was really exciting to start working on it and finding all the parts, and the band trying to figure out what to do with the parts. Everybody was very inspired.
It took a long time, and maybe we were a little bit afraid of the song, you know.
When we did the stuff, I was, this is really different for Guns N' Roses. The same way I feel about November Rain, these two songs really are similar in the fact that they're really an emotional release on Axl's part, you know.
I feel like it was a significant answer to what the piano was doing. I really do. And even when we were getting the recording together and all that kind of stuff, it was like I had a definite idea. There was no notes, no changing notes. That was the original idea, was the best one.
He just took the song very seriously, and the song means a lot to me, and certain things he did with guitar he had to work on to do, and really put himself in the right space to find the right guitar parts.
And afterwards, when it was done and recorded, I was like, Alex, okay, I got credit on this for the guitar stuff. Because it was like a big part that went on top of what he'd already wrote. And I was pretty proud of it, because it's hard to write to somebody else's music.
I really was sincere about thanking him for doing that. And the work that he did on this song is really special and really special to me. And I was very appreciative of him doing that. I don't necessarily know of anyone who's made a video like this, showing, their own emotional destruction and their process of transcending that. That's another thing about this video. It's also communication with Dylan. It's someone that I'm not allowed to communicate with, and someone who feels that I abandoned him, and I didn't. I was told one thing and shown another, and Dylan is robbed of certain things that he likes, and I am also. And just trying to transcend that and deal with that, and so making a video of what's really going on and trying to show it. It was really wild when we filmed that scene, because in this room there's a shelf. Ever since Dylan moved out of the house, I've always pictured myself sitting on that shelf, just looking at his room. When it came time to film that scene, I went up to sit on the shelf. And they got the SWAT teams breaking in and everything, and I'm kind of oblivious to this whole thing. That's what I was supposed to be doing. And I ended up just laying down and going to sleep and having the most peaceful sleep, because I really needed to do that for myself, and I really needed to be there, and I really needed to be in his room. And like, it was a really strange way for me to spend time with Dylan in my own mind that I really needed to do for myself and hadn't taken the time or found the time or the right place, and it happened on film. But it meant a lot to me. It was weird. It's like, I don't know how long I was asleep, maybe an hour, and it felt like 5 hours. I went to bed right afterwards, but I had a real heavy sense of peace that I really liked. Well, on stage, I'm communicating the song to the crowd, and also just every situation in my life that relates to any of the words in the song are going through my head at that particular time. It's an intense song to do because it's a battle through things, and it's a battle that's not necessarily over yet. You know, it's still in a period of like, will he transcend this or not? Since I don't play piano that often, or hadn't for the last couple of years, only on stage, and starting to now that we're done touring, I don't even know how to play the song anymore. Dizzy plays it.
I didn't play on it in the studio. You know, it's pretty much Axl's tune. You know, but I was there when it was being recorded. I do play it live, though.
The middle change, like kind of a piano solo area that like you go on stage when I, ladies and gentlemen, Dizzy Reed. That was really intense to write because it just kept growing and flowing.
When I had to learn it, it was like really mind-blowing. I had to chart it out. I never do that. And I actually had the song taped to the front of my piano, the chords, right? And so it was like, you know, because I was like really insecure about playing it, you know, because it's all of a sudden.
The piano, Mr. Dizzy Reed.
A lot of the guys had problems remembering some of the chords and stuff.
And it's always scary because even though we all know the song and stuff, it's like if one person fucks up, we throw everybody off.
I mean, I used to go through this little routine, like, please get me through Stretched without making a mistake, right?
Just one of those songs that I just never really got. And we're playing it, and both me and Duff are just doing the worst job. It's like, I'm trying to watch Duff's hands, Duff is watching my hands, and neither one of us are playing it right.
I'd be like, oh, nobody noticed it. Wrong. Slash in the dressing room. What happened?
He's just like screaming at us, get it together, man. You guys were going, wow, really that bad, huh? We got it together pretty quick, you know, but it was just one of those things. It just sounded like shit.
Yeah, Gilby's looked at me. I've looked at Gilby a few times, like, okay, what's up next?
Dolphins was to simulate a state of peace or state of grace. And what was not originally intended, but the next scene would be drown and go to heaven, and I really didn't want to shoot a heaven scene.
The dolphins were a kind of metaphor for, you know, the idea that we're playing the joke of he had the opportunity to be saved 3 times.
The music in the song always reminded us of whales at that particular point, and so dolphins showed up, and it kind of brings all that together.
He wastes every opportunity, you know, he rejects every opportunity to be saved. And of course, then he's not saved because, you know, he's asked God to save him, and God said, well, you had 3 opportunities. And the idea then was that, you know, you think it's all over, it's death. and he sinks underneath, but finds this new heaven. It's like it's again, it's a kind of rebirth image, and it's like, to me, it's like this kind of, he finds this nirvana, this heavenly kind of state of grace.
Where we had intended to make the sequel or the follow-up or the conclusion of November Rain, things changed, plans changed.
You know, at first there was that pressure to come up with the you know, part 3 of the trilogy, and you know, why did Steph die, which was, you know, the big question. And so that was the initial pressure, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that Axl was going through at the time which actually, you know, pushed us away from that.
There was an evolving that took place that's very hard to rise to transcend the story that we had and that we intended, but kind of been put in a situation where that's what was necessary to make the right video. Don't Cry, it's like, personally, I'm like more proud of that than anything I've done as far as work-wise. November Rain, I'm really proud of and really happy with. But there was certain things I wasn't completely involved in that I was in Don't Cry that made it more a part of me. And even though November Rain was exactly what we wanted it to be, but it's a more black and white video where you can tell what's happening, where in Don't Cry it was more surreal. I thanked Slash because after it was done, it was hell to do. They hated him. I totally grew to hate the song even though I knew I liked it. And then when it was done, I felt so good inside because it pulled all this stuff out of me.
You know what, but it's not even one of those things that deserves a special thanks, really, because I think it has more to do with the kind of relationship in the band that we have, so that it just happened to be the right piece of music at the right time that I had the right guitar thing for. So I don't think it needs all that much credit, you know, all things considered. It was more just like a relationship, the spontaneity of the relationship, and just, I had it because that's why we play together.
It's been mind-boggling and amazing to me that, like, we wrote these songs, then we went on tour, and then all the songs kept reinventing themselves to me or to the band because of whatever situations were going on in our life.
When I first saw Don't Cry, and I was not associated with the band in any way, and I saw it, I thought it was the coolest video that they'd done. I didn't understand it at all, but I liked that, you know. I thought it was really, really cool. It was interesting to see the band do, you know, something that different, you know.
I understand it in my own way, and for me to say, to give my explanation of the trilogy would be kind of ridiculous, because I'm sure Axl's got his, I mean, I know what Axl's thinking, and Slash, and, you know, I think they're 3 very beautiful videos and should be taken as that.
I don't know. I'll be, you know, probably explaining this video for the next year or two, just like the last one, and not knowing what I'm talking about, just blabbering.
The best thing you can do when it comes to expectation is to throw people off. You know, if they expect the answer, then give them something else. It's too easy to give people the answer, and there are no answers with this band.
If you still have emotions and feelings, not wanting something to die, caring about another person, not wanting them to destroy themselves. I mean, the song can be applied to Steven Adler. The song can be applied to a lot of people, members of my family. It can be applied to relationship I had with Aaron, relationship with Stephanie. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it, and trying to figure that out. So to me, at the present time, sitting here right now, this and Coma are the two heaviest songs I've ever written. You know, it's really wild to be doing this video and things going on at my home with my family that would have been nice if it would have happened with Stephanie and I. But the woman continually worked very subtly at destroying that and trying to keep me from being here for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. And it's amazing when certain things are happening, and it's nice to like realize, wow, this wouldn't be as cool if she was here as the person she was when she was with me. That's very strange. It's also very strange to know that deep inside, underneath all the very varying emotions, that I do love this person and care about what happens to them, but not at a point of being a martyr or hurting anyone that's in my life.